focus on the Chinese territory, how the imperialism spread there. There too, the first European countries to alight was Portuguese. They landed there in 1517 and they captured the Canton Port in 1517, and once they discovered any territory, other countries like France, like England, like Dutch, like Russia, they all lined up. So it was very similar to exposing certain things, and then everyone was flocking to go there to take their own share. The same thing happened to China also. China was in fact converted into a watermelon, and everyone was taking its pie depending upon what strength it had. So the story began with Portuguese, and then many other countries followed them, and they tried to exploit as much as depending upon how much power they have. So that's how things started. But for the next almost 200 years, Chinese emperor was very strong. He did not allow these countries to do anything else except trade. In fact, trade restrictions were also there on them. They had to pay tributes to the emperor for doing business. So under the restricted conditions, the business used to be conducted. But as the time passed, and especially in the first half of the 19th century, when the opium trade started, that is when the control of the Chinese emperor weakened. And this was very obvious when the First Opium War was fought. Actually, the opium was being sold by the European traders, especially the British traders, to the Chinese people, and in return they were getting silver. So it was a kind of drain of silver from China to Europe, and that is what the Chinese emperor did not like. He tried to stop it, and because of that, the First Opium War happened in 1840. Unfortunately, the Chinese emperor lost, and in 1842 the Nanking Treaty was signed, as per which the British was given control of 4 ports along with the Canton Port. They were also given the control of the Hong Kong island, and that's how actually the penetration of imperialism started in Chinese region. Then came Second Opium War, which was fought collectively by British and France forces against Chinese emperor, and in fact that war also resulted in defeat of the Chinese emperor, and that actually caused immense damage, and as a result the Peking Treaty was signed, and another group of Chinese ports were open to the European countries. In fact, Christian mercenaries were allowed to spread the religion in China, which was not there in the past. So if you look at it, the European countries targeted the ports because they knew that if they were able to capture the ports, it would be very easy to do business. Whatever they wanted to sell, they could easily take in there. Whatever they wanted to take away, they could do it from there. So most of these countries tried to control as many ports as possible so that the business would get a boost. So that's how the Second Opium War actually defeated the Chinese emperor to the core, and after that it became a free game for everyone to go and pick up whatever they wanted. So the Chinese region was defeated one after another. In fact, Russia attacked China in 1860, and that also defeated. In 1894-95, Japan attacked China, defeated and took away certain part of it. So the Chinese territory became a watermelon, and every country, the European country, was trying to gain as much as possible. So if you look at the services being controlled, England controlled the business and excise of China. France had the Chinese postal service, At the same time, the Chinese railway was also controlled by the European countries. So that's how the Chinese watermelon was divided among the different rulers. And because of many countries controlling certain other parts, it was becoming obvious that this entire region would be divided politically among the different constituents. But that is something which America did not want. That is why it brought about the open door policy in 1899, and this policy was aimed at keeping the Chinese territory intact, not dividing it politically, not changing it into fragments, instead giving equal rights to everyone to do business there. So that was agreed by most of the imperial nations except Russia, and because of this open door policy, the China remained undivided, though controlled by different powers at different places. So that's how the China was affected by the imperialism.